Hi friends, in this session we discuss free modules and vector space over division rings. Much of the theory of modules consisting of extending as many as possible of the desirable properties of vector spaces to the realm of modules over a well-behaved ring such as a principal ideal domain. However, modules can be quite a bit more complicated than vector spaces. For instance, not all modules have a basis, and even those that do, free modules need not have a unique rank if the underlying ring does not satisfy the invariant basis number condition, unlike vector spaces which always have a basis, whose cardinality is then unique. In this session, we describe the definition of free modules and consider some results. We will also discuss vector space over a division ring. Submodule generated by a subset. Let S be a subset of a R module M. Let A is equal to set of all n such that n is an R submodule of M containing S. Then, since M belongs to A not equal to 5, let K is equal to intersection n in A n. Then, K is the smallest R submodule of M containing S and is denoted by S and is called the R submodule generated by S. Notation: if S is a finite set, say S equal to set consisting of x1 etc. xm, then S is also written as x1 etc. xm. Definition: an R module M is called a finitely generated module if M is equal to x1 etc. xk for some xi belongs to M 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to k. An R module M is called a cyclic module if M is equal to x for some x in M. Definition: a finite sequence x1 etc. xn of elements of an R module M is called linearly independent if for any a1 etc. an belongs to R, sigma over I is equal to 1 to n, ai xi is equal to 0, which implies a1 is equal to a2 is equal to etc. is equal to an, which is equal to 0. Definition: a finite sequence is called linearly dependent if it is not linearly independent. Remark: a subset S of an R module M is called linearly independent if every finite sequence of distinct elements of S is linearly independent. Otherwise, S is called linearly dependent. Example 1. For n a fixed positive integer and I is equal to 1, 2, etc. n, ei denotes the n tuple in which all components except the ith are 0 and the ith component is 1. Then the set E1, E2, etc. En is a linearly independent set in the module M is equal to R raised to n over a ring R with unity. Definition: a subset B of an R module M is called a basis if 1. M is generated by B. 2. B is a linearly independent set. Example 2. The set consisting of E1, E2, etc. En is a basis for the module M is equal to R raised to n over a ring R with unity. Free modules. Definition: free module. An R module M is called a free module if M admits a basis. In other words, M is free if there exists a subset S of M such that M is generated by S and S is a linearly independent set. Remark: 0 is regarded as a free module whose basis is the empty set. Theorem 1. Let M be a free R module with a basis set E1, E2, etc. En, then M is isomorphic to Rn. Proof: define a mapping phi from M to Rn by phi of sigma over I is equal to 1 to n Ri Ei is equal to sigma over I is equal to 1 to n Ri Fi, where Fi is equal to 0, etc. 1, 0, etc. 0 belongs to Rn. Since set E1, E2, etc. En is linearly independent, sigma over I is equal to 1 to n Ri Ei is equal to sigma over I is equal to 1 to n Ri dash Ei, which implies Ri is equal to Ri dash for I is equal to 1, 2, etc. n. Hence, phi is well defined. If m is equal to sigma over I is equal to 1 to n Ri Ei and m dash is equal to sigma over I is equal to 1 to n Ri dash Ei and R belongs to R, then it follows that phi of m plus m dash is equal to phi of m plus phi of m dash and phi of Rm is equal to R phi of m. Thus, phi is a ring homomorphism. Further, if phi of m is equal to 0, then sigma over I is equal to 1 to n Ri Fi is equal to 0. This implies that R1 etc. Rn is equal to 0 and hence each Ri is equal to 0. So that m is equal to sigma over I is equal to 1 to n Ri Ei is equal to 0, proving that phi is 1 to 1. It is obvious that phi is onto. Combining this discussion, we have phi is an isomorphism and hence m isomorphic to Rn. This completes the proof. Theorem 2. Let V be a non-zero finitely generated vector space over a field F. Then V admits a finite basis. Proof. Let set x1, x2, etc. xn be a subset of V that generates V. If this set is not linearly independent, then there exist scalars alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n, not all zeros such that alpha 1 x1 plus alpha 2 x2 plus etc. plus alpha n xn is equal to 0. For simplicity, we may assume alpha 1 not equal to 0. Then x1 is equal to beta 2 x2 plus etc. plus beta n xn, where beta 2 is equal to minus alpha 1 inverse alpha 2 etc. beta n is equal to minus alpha 1 inverse alpha n. This shows that the set x2 etc. xn also generates V. If set x2 etc. xn is a linearly independent set, we are done. Otherwise, we proceed as before and omit one more element. Continuing like this, we arrive at a linearly independent set that also generates V. Note that this process must end before we exhaust all elements. In the extreme case, if we had come to a single element that generates V, then that single elements will form a basis because each non-zero element in V forms a linearly independent set. Hence, V does admit a finite basis. Remark. If we regard the empty set as the basis of a zero vector space, the previous theorem shows that each finitely generated vector space has a basis with a finite cardinality. Indeed, we note that as a consequence of Zorn's lemma, every vector space has a basis. Theorem 3. Let M be a finitely generated free module over a commutative ring R. Then all bases of M are finite. Proof. Let Ei, I in A be a basis of M and let set x1, x2, etc. xn be a set of generators of M. Then each xj can be written as xj is equal to sigma over I alpha ij ei. Alpha ij belongs to R and all but finite number of alpha ij are 0. Thus, the set S of those ei's that occur in expression of all the xj's, j is equal to 1, 2, etc. n is finite. This completes the proof. Theorem 4. Let M be a finitely generated free module over a commutative ring R. Then all bases of M have the same number of elements. Proof. Equivalently, the theorem states that if Rm isomorphic to Rn, then M is equal to n. Let M less than n and let phi from Rm to Rn be an R isomorphism and let psi is equal to phi inverse. Let E1, E2 etc. Em and F1, F2 etc. Fn be ordered bases of Rm and Rn respectively. Let us write phi of Ei is equal to A1i F1 plus etc. plus A_ni Fn, 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to M. Psi of Fj is equal to B1j E1 plus etc. plus Bmj Em, 1 less than or equal to j less than or equal to n. Let A is equal to Aj and B is equal to Bkj be n by m and m by n matrices. Then psi phi of Ei is equal to sigma over k is equal to 1 to m, sigma over j is equal to 1 to n, Bkj Aj Ek, 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to m. Thus, by the linear independence of the Ei's and by the fact that psi is equal to phi inverse, we have sigma over j is equal to 1 to n, Bkj Aji is equal to delta Ki. This gives Ba is equal to matrix B11 etc. B1n etc. Bm1 etc. Bmn into matrix A11 etc. Am1 etc. An1 etc. Anm, which is equal to Im, where Im is the m by m identity matrix. Similarly, AB is equal to In. Let A dash is equal to metric A0 and B dash is equal to metric B0 be n by n augmented matrices where each of the 0 blocks is a metric of appropriate order. Then A dash B dash is equal to In, B dash A dash is equal to metric Im0 0 0. This implies that determinant of A dash B dash is equal to 1 and determinant of B dash A dash is equal to 0. But A dash and B dash are n by n matrices over a commutative ring. So, determinant of A dash B dash is equal to determinant of B dash A dash, which yields a contradiction. Hence, m greater than or equal to n. By symmetry, n greater than or equal to m. This proves that m is equal to n and completes the proof. Definition. The number of elements in any basis of a finitely generated free module M over a commutative ring R with unity is called the rank of M, denoted by rank M. In particular, if R is a field, then the rank of M is known as the dimension of the vector space M and is denoted by dim M. Definition. A vector space V over a field F is finite dimensional if it is finitely generated. Otherwise, it is called an infinite dimensional vector space. Vector space over a division ring. Definition. A left unitary module over a division ring is called a left vector space. Theorem 5. A non-zero vector space over a division ring is a free module. Proof. Let V be a non-zero vector space over a division ring D. Then J be the family of all linearly independent subsets of V. That is, J is equal to set of all A subset of V such that A is linearly independent over D. Observe that J not equal to 5 because J contains all singleton set consisting of non-zero elements of V. Partially ordered J under set inclusion and apply Zorn's lemma to get a maximal element B in J. Claim. B is a basis for V. Being a maximal element in J, B is a linearly independent set. It remains to show that B spans V. If not, there exists V in V such that V is not a linear combination of any finite subsets of B. Now, B dash is equal to B union singleton set V is linearly independent, and hence B dash belongs to J, which contradicts the maximality of B. Hence, B spans V over D. Theorem 6. Let V be a vector space over a division ring D. Then we have the following. 1. Every linearly independent subset of V can be extended to a basis of V. In particular, every non-zero vector can be extended to a basis. 2. Every subset which spans V contains a basis of V. 3. Any two bases of V are either both finite or both infinite, and their cardinalities are equal. This common value is called the dimension of V and is denoted by dim V. Proof. Proofs of 1 and 2 are similar to the proofs of the previous theorem, with Zorn's lemma respectively applied to 1. J is equal to set B subset of V such that B is linearly independent over D and A subset of B. For any linearly independent subset A of V. And 2. Jx is equal to set A subset of X such that A is linearly independent over D for any subset X spanning V over D. Maximal elements in these families give basis for V. In order to prove 3, we first prove the following. Lemma. A subset S is equal to set V1, V2, etc. Vn of non-zero elements of a vector space V over a division ring D is linearly dependent if and only if some Vk 2 less than or equal to k less than or equal to n can be expressed as linear combination of its preceding vectors. Proof. Suppose that Vk can be expressed as a linear combination of the preceding ones, then the set V1, V2, etc. Vk is linearly dependent. Conversely, let set V1, V2, etc. Vn be linearly dependent. Say sigma over I is equal to 1 to k, Bi Va is equal to 0 with k greater than or equal to 2 and Bk not equal to 0. Now, minus Vk is equal to sigma over I is equal to 1 to k minus 1 Bk inverse Bi Vi. That is, Vk is a linear combination of its preceding vectors Vi, I less than or equal to k minus 1. Now, we proceed to prove third part of the theorem. Let B1 is equal to set consisting of V1, V2, etc. Vm be a finite basis for V. If B2 is another basis, then B2 is also finite, because it is easy to see that B1 subset of span W1, W2, etc. Wn for some finite subset set W1, W2, etc. Wn of B2, and hence we get that B2 is equal to set W1, W2, etc. Wn. We have to prove that M is equal to N. Since W1 can be written as a linear combination of V1, V2, etc. Vm, the set W1, V1, V2, etc. Vm is linearly dependent. Then by the lemma just above, we can find Vk not is equal to W1 such that Vk is equal to Bw1 plus sigma over I is equal to 1 to k minus 1 Ai Vi, and the set B3 is equal to set W1, V1, etc. Vk minus 1, Vk plus 1, etc. Vm spans V. Now consider W2 belongs to B2. Since W2 is a linear combination of elements of B3, the set B4 is equal to set consisting of W2, W1, V1, V2, etc. Vk cap, etc. Vm spans V, where Vk cap means Vk is omitted. Proceeding as above, at each step we include a W from B2 and exclude a V from B1. We notice that the set B1 of V's cannot be exhausted before the set B2 of W's is included. For otherwise, we get V as a linear span of a proper subset of B2, which contradicts the fact that B2 is a basis for V. Hence, we get a basis of the form Wn, Wn minus 1, etc. W2, W1, Vi1, Vi2, etc. Vit, 0 less than or equal to it less than or equal to m, that is n less than or equal to m. Similarly, interchanging the roles of B1 and B2, we get that m less than or equal to n. Thus, we have n is equal to m as required. Example 3. Example of a free module in which a linearly independent subset cannot be extended to a basis. Said the ring of integers is not a division ring. Take R is equal to Z is equal to M as a Z module. Z is free with a basis singleton set 1 or singleton set minus 1. In fact, it has no other basis. Now, singleton set 2 is linearly independent over Z. We note that 2 cannot generate Z over Z. Hence, if there is a basis B containing 2, then B should have at least one more element, say B. But set 2B is linearly dependent subset of B, since B into 2 minus 2 into B is equal to 0. This is a contradiction and hence there is no basis containing 2. Example 4. Example of a free module M for which a subset X spans M but X does not contain a basis. Take R is equal to Z is equal to M and X is equal to set Mn with M and N non-units and GCD of Mn is equal to 1. For instance, take X is equal to set 2, 3. We have 1 is equal to Am plus Bn for some AB belongs to set. Therefore, X is equal to Xam plus Xbn for every X in set. This shows that Mn spans Z and Z is equal to Mz plus Nz. But X is linearly dependent and hence X is not a basis for Z. It is clear that Mz naught is equal to Z and Nz naught is equal to Z, so that X does not contain any basis for Z. Example 5. Example of a free module M which has bases having different cardinalities. Let V be a vector space of countably infinite dimension over a division ring D. Let R is equal to ent V, the ring of endomorphisms of V. We note that R is free over R with basis singleton set 1. We shall prove that given a positive integer n, there is an R basis Bn is equal to set F1, F2, etc. Fn for R having n elements. Let B is equal to set Ek, k is from 1 to infinity, be a basis of V over D. Define F1, F2, etc. Fn belongs to R by specifying their values on B as in the table 1 below. We now check that Bn is R basis of R. In fact, if sigma over I is equal to 1 to n, alpha I Fi is equal to 0 with alpha I belongs to R, then evaluation on the successive blocks of n vectors, namely Ekn plus 1, etc. Ek plus 1 n, k is equal to 0, 1, etc. we get alpha I of Ek plus 1 is equal to 0 for every k and 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to n. That is, alpha I is equivalent to 0 for every I, showing that Bn is linearly independent over R. Secondly, if F belongs to R, then F is equal to sigma over I is equal to 1 to n alpha I Fi, where alpha I belongs to R, are defined by their values on B as in table 2 below. Thus, Bn is R basis of R as required. We note that B1 is equal to set 1R is the standard basis. Now, let us summarize the session. In this session, we have described the definition of free modules and considered some results. We have discussed vector space over a division ring. Before moving to the next session, try to solve the given questions. Give an example to show that a submodule of a finitely generated module need not be finitely generated. Prove or disprove a finitely generated module over the ring of integers is a finitely generated abelian group. A finitely generated module over a field is a finite dimensional vector space. Comment. Prove that every homomorphic image of a finitely generated module is finitely generated. Thank you for watching this session. See you next time. Until then, goodbye.